Welcome to the Create Today podcast. This show is all about how you can create the life you want one day at a time, no matter what shit you've been through, Mary's favorite tagline. I'm your host, Karen Stanley, and my amazing guest is my second time guest, Mary Yuter. Yay! She gets the gold star because she's such a wealth of knowledge. She is a former cardiac ICU nurse in the biggest hospital in New York City for 13 years. And I'm so excited today because today I want to talk about how to detox from any injections that you may have. Mary, thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Karen, thank you. It's so great to be back. You make it so easy to be a guest, and it's always fun. And yeah, I'm really excited to talk about our subject today because I am starting to see a lot of clients in my practice that have vascular injury and cardiac injury as a result of we'll just call them injections of the past few years. And today we'll talk about a detox protocol that is not just for these injections, but some of the modalities can be used to clean out the body and are helpful with a whole series of injections we may have had our whole life, from flu shots to MMR to DTP to all these shots that we have on the regular that over time cause toxins are toxic to our body. So today,
really excited. I wanted to ask, I want you to explain why you call them injections and not vaccines.
Well, I actually think we're inoculated by them. They're not a vaccine because there's no attenuated virus particle. A vaccine means they're taking a piece of dead viral tissue or pieces of dead virus and putting it in the shot to make the immune system mount an immune response so that when you are encountering that particular virus or thing, the immune system says, oh, dude, I've seen this before. Let's march on it and attack it and get rid of it. It doesn't belong here. But what this is doing is it is causing, either through the infection or the vaccine, the quote unquote vaccination, I'm going to call it injection. Thank you for that. So from the infection or the injection, the expression of a spike protein happens. And what is happening during that, what our body's response is immune dysregulation from these spike proteins, meaning the immune system gets confused. It doesn't know what this is, friend or foe. And because of that, we have autoimmunity. And one of the things that's happening is it's causing an autoimmune response to our cardiac tissue. So this is really important for anybody already with a baseline heart condition. It's causing a disease process called myocarditis. Myo means muscle, cardiac means heart, and itis means inflammation. So this is an inflammation of the heart muscle. And then it's also causing endothelial dysfunction. So we've got the whole cardiovascular system here. We've got our arteries and vessels and the heart. And then to top it off, these spike proteins attach to something called ACE2 markers. And these ACE2, when they're attached to platelets, cause an fibrinogen resistant clot, meaning the clot isn't broken down like it normally would be. So this is a clotting that is like something that is not usual for the body. And the people who got hit the hardest were those who are obese and with type 2 diabetes. And that's from my research and also from boots on the ground. When I left the cardiac ICU at Bellevue Hospital, my unit became the first COVID unit in the city of New York. And my colleagues, as a little straw poll that I was doing, I said, who's getting hit the hardest? What are you seeing? What are the commonalities? They also concurred that obesity and diabetes type 2 were the common factors. And what's happening now is we don't know, like people might be looking okay, and then all of a sudden death. Nobody's talking about this. Oh, gee, I wonder why. Well, come on. This is complete denial. And what's happening is people are also suffering from long COVID. And one of the things that's happening in long COVID is a gut dysbiosis, meaning an imbalance of the microbiome in the gut. And that means that your immune system is not going to work well. So what can we do here? There's a lot to unpack. What's going on? And I have in my notes here, well, we want to improve our microbiome. We want a healthy microbiome, and we want to improve our immune system. And what do we do for that? Well, as I always say, everything begins with mindset. So if you are stressed, if you are thinking bad thoughts, if you are angry, your body doesn't know, or you're worried about something happening. Your body does not know that this thing really didn't happen yet. So it's triggering hormones and cortisol and insulin and all the things. And so what that can do is dysregulate our microbiome further, causing inflammation and causing your microbiome not to be able to make the immune cells that we need, and also to not be able to absorb the nutrients that we need in our body to heal. And then, so what we need to do is we need to work on our mindset, move to a positive healing frame of mind, calm the body, working with things like meditation, mindfulness, stress relieving protocols. And we need to seed and feed, populate our gut with good bacteria, and then feed them. And we seed them with things that are fermented and feed them with things that are fiber. And then what we also want to do is inhibit the spike protein from cleaving. And what cleaving is imagine like a little top, and that you spin the top and it has a little round bottom. Well, that top contains a virus particle. And so that top needs to split open or cleave like cleavage. It needs to split open like cleavage to enable the viral particle to attach and start its business. So if we can inhibit the spike protein cleavage, then that can really help with annihilating the problem and all the cascades that happen. So how do we stop the spike protein from cleaving? Well, we can use something called nattokinase, and this is the cheapest thing you can do that has the best impact. And nattokinase is an enzyme that is derived from a Japanese fermented soy product called natto. And nattokinase is made from the fermented soy, and you can get a capsule form, and it's by a company called Doctor's Best, and it's made with organic soy. And you take one veggie capsule in the morning before you eat anything, about a half hour before eating. So you have it on an empty stomach. Nattokinase can help stop the cleavage, as can something called autophagy. And autophagy is the cleansing of our body from debris, cellular debris, toxins, cellular waste, improper cells that that have died but are still sitting there, which is called apoptosis. So autophagy comes into play and helps clean out our system. Autophagy is our body's ability to be a housekeeper, basically. And how we achieve that is by intermittent fasting, because when you eat, your body says, oh my gosh, I've got to process. Think of the amount of processing that it takes for you to process like a huge breakfast into what comes out of your body, and your body to take all that, metabolize it, deconstruct it into nutrients, package it up, send it all around the body. it's a tremendous amount of metabolism for that. So if your body is busy doing that, it can't clean house. So what we want to do is give your body a break from all that metabolizing so that it can housekeep. And how do we do that? Eat dinner early, have breakfast late. And ideally, you want to do something called circadian fasting, which is really awesome. And that means stopping your meal intake at least 3 hours before bed, and then waiting well after you wake up in the morning before you break your fast.
How many hours before bed?
3, at
3
least
hours.
3 hours before bed, so that your body can do the major processing, begin the major processing. But like if you can stop your eating at 6:30, like if you could be done by 6:30, let's say, and then you don't eat till 8:30, 9:30 in the morning, you've got a nice round of activity there where the body can clean, and it cleans a lot during when we sleep, and that's especially important when we sleep. Also, how we can promote autophagy is cold shock therapy and heat protein therapy. And what that is when you are in a cold shock, it causes the body to amp up its immunity response. You're irritating the body, but in a good way. So that can be done by cold plunge or a cold shower, like a 3-minute cold shower, or soaking in a cold plunge for 3 minutes. And also by infrared sauna. Infrared sauna creates heat shock proteins, which stresses the body. And so that is another other way. So combining them all is excellent. And then you want to heal the damage and restore homeostasis to the body. And that would be improving the immune system. And how do we do that? With whole food, plant-based nutrition. So you want to decrease the amount of protein here, like animal protein, because it's harder to process for your body. So making your system have ease with all these other modalities that you're using, whole food, plant-based, decrease inflammation. And how do we do that? We get rid of fried foods, all the white sugars, white flour, anything processed, alcohol, anything with high fructose syrup in it, anything processed. If it's made in a plant, chances are it's not good for you. If it is a plant, it's good for you. And then seed oils. Seed oils are very inflammatory, and those are sunflower seed, safflower seed, vegetable oil, canola oil, rapeseed oil. All of these cause inflammation, and inflammation can wreck our vasculature. And then our vasculature is already having that problem with clotting. So this is another way that we can help our body and increase circulation.
I have a question.
Sure.
Are all seed oils created equal? Because I always thought avocado oil was a great oil to cook with. Like olive oil should be used cold, doesn't have a high heat set point, but avocado has a higher. And I feel like that's not like a genetically processed corn, vegetable, soy, canola bullshit oil. Are they all created equal? Even avocado oil, organic?
Karen, excellent question. Top student. Avocado oil is excellent. It has a low heat tolerance. So coconut oil is also excellent. And coconut oil has a benefit where it has something called MCT in it, which is really great for our brain health. And coconut oil is like a go-to, like you can use that as it's cooling. In Ayurveda, it's a cooling oil, and you can apply that to your skin to help cool you down.
I love coconut oil.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. So that is an excellent question. And no, they're not all created equal. And avocado, you want to make sure that it is 100% pure, because they do cut some of them with other oils. So pure and organic. And that was an excellent. Yeah, excellent. Awesome. And then some of the other things that can decrease inflammation and help prevent a heart attack and stroke. And I don't like to promote drugs per se, but to get through a hoop, if you to get through a hoop if you are having problems, is a drug that is now being promoted as a quote unquote new drug treating inflammation, is colchicine. And colchicine is a drug that was mostly used for treating people with gout, but it has been shown to have great anti-inflammatory properties and is now being used and recommended by cardiologists for decreasing myocardial infarction and stroke. Metformin, which is a diabetes drug, is also being used for this treatment. On a natural perspective, quercetin is being promoted for anti-inflammatory properties. Vitamin D and plus K2. So vitamin D, you want to make sure that your supplement has K2. If you just have vitamin D on its own, it will put calcium into your arteries. If you have D plus K2 together combined, it will put it in your teeth and bones where it needs to be. So there's a great company that I like. It's called, I'll have to come back to that because it's Pure Synergy, and they have a great D plus K2. They also have a great C, and you don't want to have ascorbic acid. You want to have something that's made with like acerola or fruit like amla for your vitamin C. So Pure Synergy also has a great product for their vitamin C. And then you want to have NAC, which is N-acetylcysteine, I believe it is. And that is an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, and glutathione, which is great for liver support and cell support. So these are some of the supplements that can help, and along with the fasting, and then staying hydrated, because say you're diabetic and you're dehydrated, you're going to have thick, sludgy blood moving in these endothelial areas, these arteries that are having a problem. So staying hydrated. And here's a little trick, is having a little, it sounds counterintuitive, but putting a little sea salt on your tongue and then letting that dissolve and then drinking water helps to move the water actually into your cells, rather than having a glass of salted water. Having that salt on your tongue really concentrates it and then you can drink your water. And that helps to absorb the water into your cells as opposed to it going right through you. And then we talked about gut, and then getting out in the sun to get your vitamin D naturally, and getting out first thing in the morning to get that sun in your eyes to set your circadian rhythm. So that helps your biological clock know that, okay, it's time to wake up now. My cortisol level is going to go up a little bit to get me up for the day. My melatonin level is going to go down. And then at the end of the day, to take a peep at the sunset as well, to help that circadian rhythm, to help your body say, okay, time to turn off all cortisol and get my melatonin going. And then let's see what else I have here. I have quite a few things. I mean, feel free to interrupt me at any time.
I'm so excited. Yeah, I definitely will whenever I have questions. I've heard so many people talk about, your circadian rhythm and how we've screwed it all up by staying up late, looking at screens all night. And just emphasizing exactly what you just said. And our good friend, Dr. Linda, she also talks about adding real salt, the mineral salt. I just wanted you to talk about salt, and also how they're not created equal. I use the real salt that's from the earth with all the minerals from Utah. I know a lot of people love sea salt, and there's a lot of benefits, and that's also good. Do you have a favorite salt recommendation?
I recommend Celtic salt, Celtic sea salt, and the reason why over Himalayan, which Himalayan has a lot of minerals in it, but the Celtic sea salt has a lot of magnesium in it, and our bodies are deficient in magnesium. So anywhere we can get magnesium is a great idea. And anything from the sea is so healing. And so I like that. I am not familiar with the Utah salt, but I will look it up. you know, you want to make sure where your salt is from too. Like, is the water healthy? Like, we have Fukushima that happened on the West Coast, and we don't know what's happening with radioactivity in the water, how that's impacting our fish, and they may be doing a dump of those reactors out there. So if they haven't already, so you want to make sure that your salt is from very healthy waters. There's also another brand called Crucial 4, and I also use theirs, and it has a high mineral content. Crucial 4. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies, full disclosure, but I believe in sharing information, and I love sharing information and helping people. Yeah, so yeah, salt has been bastardized along with cholesterol, and we need to get that salt in our body. The table salt that has no iodine in it, that's not good. And then, you know, when people have fevers, don't treat it so fast. If you have a low-grade fever after having a flu shot or one of these injections, don't take fever reducer. It's your body's reaction trying to kill whatever is going on. If it's a high fever, like over 101 or over, then treat it with vitamin C, hydration, and then, you know, if you feel you need to, report to your doctor. But yeah, you want to remineralize your body with the salt. And
quick question. How
yeah,
long do you allow your body to have a higher temperature before it's really a concern?
that's a good question. And I'm reflecting back to my hospital days. I mean, if you are not feeling really ill, and you're you know, not totally debilitated, I don't know. I don't know how long that would ride along. Like, we would have parameters like at 101, let's say, administer Tylenol. But I think if you are feeling okay, you know, it's how your body feels. But if it's running like 12 hours and you're still, and your body, ultimately, you will start running down. So you do want to have some kind of intervention. But holistic support, sleep, hydration, even putting a cool pack on your head can help provide some relief. Yeah.
I love that. Awesome. Okay. All right. Back to detoxing. Sorry to interrupt. I'm loving this.
I have a lot of information here. So
great.
Here's some other things that you can try is pine needle tea. It has something called shikimic acid in it, which is an ingredient used in Tamiflu. So a lot of our medications were actually taken from nature. And like aspirin is taken from the bark of a tree. And shikimic acid is widely used. It's a widely used antiviral in the widely used antiviral drug for treating seasonal flu and for like swine and bird flus. It's an antiviral and prohibits replication of virus in the body. It also has anticoagulant and antithrombotic properties, which can help against the clotting. Nattokinase does as well. So it's actually a 3-for-1. Natto prevents the cleavage. It's great. It's fermented, so it's going to help your gut dysbiosis, and it has anti-clotting properties. So natto for the win, nattokinase. Shikimic acid can also be found in star anise, which is an herb. And that is used in Chinese medicine to treat plagues and respiratory illness. And with pine needle tea, just heat it right below boiling. There are certain pines that you don't want to use. The one you should use is white pine. That's the best one. You don't want to use Norfolk Island pine or hemlock. Those are not good for you. So stick with white pine if you can find white pine needle or white pine needle tea.
Okay.
Get out in the sun, get your UV exposure. Some studies show that sunlight can reduce the viability of SARS-CoV-2. supplement with your vitamin D, get your vitamin D levels checked. Most people are very deficient. And again, if you're supplementing D with K2 and what else? Nitric oxide, making sure that you are helping your endothelium. So nitric oxide starts in the mouth. So everybody should be dropping any mouthwash use immediately, because what happens is when you use mouthwash, you're killing enzymes in your mouth that convert leafy greens and beets from nitrates in those vegetables to nitrites. And we've heard of nitroglycerin, which is a vasodilator. So here we have our food as medicine. So what happens when we have that conversion to nitrites, it helps to open the endothelium, the vasculature. So if you've got the sludgy blood or a propensity for clots, this is opening up the vasculature. And so that we want to protect those enzymes in our mouth. And this is going to help with inflammation of the heart muscle, the myocarditis, and helping to improve the heart's ability to function. And then, believe it or not, borax. Borax has been used for thousands of years. And there's a brand called 20 Mule Team, and this is a detergent. It's used as a detergent. But the FDA, which we don't necessarily want to follow, 3-letter agencies, but up to 1/8 of a teaspoon per 100 pounds of body weight. I use a little less, but I put a pinch in my water sometimes and have it. And what's interesting is I grow beets, and when the beets leaves look really like brown and loss of luster, I know that the beet plant needs some borax, because beets, yeah, they take a tremendous amount of minerals from their soil. They need a lot of fertilizing, and they love borax. And so you put just a pinch in like a gallon of water and water the beets, and my gosh, it's like next day they're like, la, their little leaves are all bright and shiny and straight and looking great. And so that's what's happening in our body too. We're a chemistry set. We're made of minerals and all this great stuff. And so our bodies sometimes can become deficient, like the beets. And
That's
also,
crazy. Why I've
yeah,
heard so many people talk about borax. Can you explain exactly what it is again? What is it? Everyone, it's like laundry soap. Wait a second. Why are we eating laundry soap? Like, what is it?
it's called sodium tetraborate or
Oh,
hexahydrate or sodium borate. And it's a natural occurring mineral compound. It's made of sodium, boron, oxygen, and water.
no way.
And it's meant to be taken in very small amounts. It can be toxic.
Okay.
So just like anything, and a small pinch in water every morning with 3 to 6 glasses per day. This can help with detoxing what's called nanoparticles. So another thing we haven't talked about is nanoparticles.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. First, one final thing is borax can help raise your pH. So an acidic pH in the body makes us a really hospitable host for bacteria, funguses, molds, pathogens. An alkalinic body with a lot of oxygen, those pathogens do not like that. So raising your pH is great. We want to be more alkaline, so that helps us. So yeah, so nanoparticles they're like magnetoparticles, and they I'm not looking at the chat because I'll totally derail myself.
I am so sorry. I
No,
like for our listeners, I'm sitting here typing notes as she's talking.
Can they see it?
No. I was just telling the listeners what just because I'm explaining. I'm sitting there, typing in all these notes because there's so much information, and I'm going to put everything in the show notes.
Oh,
So
okay.
you don't have to memorize everything. You can just go look at the show notes, and I'll put all the links to everything that we're talking about so you can get
Okay.
all the things.
Perfect. So what we've got in our body over time and from chemtrails in the sky is we've got a lot of metals in our bodies, combined with all these foods fortified with iron. Why do we need iron? Well, who loves iron? Pathogens love iron. So we're being poisoned left and right. We're being poisoned. We've got all this heavy metals in our body. So how do we get rid of that? You can take spirulina and chlorella, which are sea algae, which are excellent at clearing heavy metals, combined with cilantro. Now, some people can't handle cilantro. It tastes like soap to them. So we'll give you guys a pass, but you can have spirulina and chlorella in smoothies every day, or add it into water, or coconut water, even better. So you get some electrolyte bang for your buck. And combined, so that's getting your toxins out, but now you have to get it outside the body. So that's where your sweating comes in. So having good detoxification pathways where you're sweating, making sure your lymph is healthy, because our lymph is our sewage system of the body. And how do we get our lymph healthy? The best thing is 9 minutes on a rebounder. And I've yet to try this, but I've seen some research that jumping on a rebounder is really great for, and also there are vibrating equipment in gyms and Pilates studios that are helpful with the lymph, and then lymphatic massage. So the sauna, so getting rid of this sweating it out in the sun, sweating it out in a workout. So getting those metals out of your body by sweating. So that's one of the best things we can do. And for men with the iron load in their body, the only way women of menstruating age can get rid of the iron from menstruation, but men can't get rid of that iron. And I would suggest that people get their iron levels checked, as well as ferritin, which shows what the liver has stored on board, because there might be a lot of iron in the liver. And what men can do is they can donate blood. That's really the only way a man can get rid of heavy iron toxicity in the body.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's a good idea to get checked and get rid of those toxins, and get rid of any food that's fortified with iron. You don't need it. You're getting it if you're eating leafy greens and plants and meat. So we don't need things that are fortified at all. Yeah. So let's see what else I have. Bee pollen is very full of protein and healing. Iodine for our thyroid health, like a couple of drops, 1 to 2 drops in a glass of water a day. I do that just prophylactically. Oil of oregano. Oil of oregano is like really great for immune boosting. And this is really great. So we want to bring in other modalities too. So there's a frequency, a healing frequency used in music. It's called solfeggio frequency, and it's 528 hertz frequency. And you can find that on Spotify, searching 528 hertz or solfeggio. And this resonates with and possibly heals DNA within the body. So this is something that I want to encourage people to listen to as they're meditating, or just put it on in the background as they're working. And here you are healing your body with sound.
Wow. I had at one point, I had some meditation CDs. This is dating myself. And I believe that was the deal, was at that certain frequency that heals. Can you explain how that works? How is listening to music heal your DNA?
Well, and let me tell you something too. Hitler knew about frequency, And if we go back to Tesla, he said everything is energy, frequency. What is it? Well, I'll have to tell you that so you can put it in the show notes. And everything, energy, frequency, and vibration, I believe he said.
Yeah.
But Hitler knew what was a bad frequency, and he used it in music, and he used it when dealing with concentration camps people.
Oh,
And
for more torture, you mean?
yeah. But if you've ever seen water vibrate to music, or if you've seen sand, like put sand on top of a speaker and seen it vibrate, or like there's a gentleman, Dr. Emoto, who looked at the healing of how different emotions affected water. And
Yes, I saw that.
yeah, so sound also has an impact on our bodies. Like if you hear a boom, 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 a deep bass of someone driving their car next to you, that impacts your cells in your body. And they're like, it almost is like they make snowflake designs, like your body reacts to that boom, boom, boom. And you can have, it can be either healing for your cells or not healing for your cells. It's like a caustic.
I've heard that the hip hop industry actually did that on purpose as well.
Could be. And then people are, this might cause certain reactions in people.
Anger.
Yeah. There's a certain drumming that is very popular now with the cymbals, and it's like a rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-tat. And to me, my body like repels it. I do not like that sound. So I want to encourage people to start being more astute to, what am I hearing? How is this impacting my body? Because we go through our day and don't even realize that something might, as what you think is innocuous or benign as music, can affect us. And also listening to the news, listening to the radio.
Yeah,
It's very interesting when you start listening to the words to some of these songs, like classic rock, and you start listening and you're like, wow, what are they talking about? And translating it into today's times.
Yeah. And
Very
remember
interesting.
we were kids and they would say, oh, play the record backwards. And it was like all these crazy Satan messages. Oh, turns out that's true. And that's not even a crazy conspiracy theory. And it was like something that we kids talked about,
I think it's Stairway to Heaven. Yeah.
A lot of them, a lot of Ozzy Osbourne, all of them. But it's just wild. I was like, no way. And like, I don't even know how to play a record backwards. Nobody even has records anymore. But yeah, I talk about that a lot. It's like literally in my book that I wrote too, and I'm sure you write about it in your book as well, just about editing your inputs. I mean, really super careful about all of your inputs, every single thing that you're digesting and consuming, including what you're listening to and watching to. I totally wholeheartedly agree.
Oh yeah. This is about taking control of our lives now, and standing up and saying, I don't want this. This is not right. And critically thinking, why am I being asked to do this? Why am I being offered a burger or a beer or a lap dance to do this? Does this make sense? Is this health? Why are we being told to mask up when there's no biohazard containers anywhere? Why are we being told to stand 6 feet apart when our hearts and bodies put out an electromagnetic frequency 3 feet from each other, 3 feet outside our body? Why are we being told to disconnect from that frequency and energy that connects us as human to human?
Yeah.
Why am I being told to be on these
this for 3 years?
Yeah, we could have another talk about all that.
I know.
Why am I being told to take these medications when there's no end date? Why am I being told to do this when I've been given no plan? So what is the rationale? When someone is asking you to do something, ask the rationale behind it. Start doing your research. This is for the listeners out there, because so many people just accepted things as, okay, I'll do that because the news told me to, and they have my health in mind. Did anybody ever talk to you this whole time about what could heal your body naturally? No, it was dad and son, stay away from each other, don't connect with anyone, watch your loved ones die alone in the hospital, you know, and we cannot have this happen again. And I hope this message goes out far and wide, and people, please spread Karen's awesome podcast out, because this has got to stop, and people need to come together in unity, and all this division and all this crazy stuff that's going on.
It's manufactured on purpose.
It is.
So that's such a great, I'm glad you brought all of that up, because really taking full responsibility for our health and our bodies. And if you really, really think about it, in the last 3 years, the only people that were talking about how to heal all of the red flags, all of the problems with masking up and distancing and all that crap they were telling us to do, they were silenced. They are out there. They've been talking about it this whole time. They just took them all down from social media. So you weren't able to find them. YouTube took them down, Facebook took them down, Instagram took them down, podcasts took them down. And so it's really hard to, not hard. You just really have to be, you have to really think exactly what you're saying. Why are they saying this? And does it make any sense? This doesn't make any sense from the very beginning. I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. Cover your face with a piece of cloth. Really? Seriously? I mean, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Right.
But, you know, but we also had a fear campaign. So let's just talk about what fear does to your body, because you're the very first thing you said is mindset. You have to reset, recharge your nervous system, calm your nervous system, because if you are in a state of fight or flight, what do?
Yeah, your body is in the sympathetic nervous system response, and everything turns off so that you can run away from whatever the dangerous thing is that's bothering you.
Everything.
And yeah, and that includes your stomach is not going to process food appropriately for you. So you're not going to take in any good things that you're working on. And it releases a cascade of hormones that are reactive in your body and perpetuate the stress response, like cortisol, and then insulin goes up. And our day-to-day living is constantly in that state for a lot of people.
True.
And yeah, it's really important for us to fear is that sympathetic nervous system response. And I think taking accountability and empowering yourself with your own healing, and, you know, because it's going to be really important for people to get off medications as much as they can, because we're going to have more supply chain interruption. And right now, a lot of medications that are critical for people and coincidentally used in the treatment of myocarditis, amiodarone. There's a shortage now of amiodarone, and amiodarone is predominantly made overseas. So we have a trucking company, Yellow Freight, that may be going out of business, and it's a huge trucking company. So if trucks are not there to pick up containers from overseas, we're not going to have amiodarone. And people with atrial fibrillation and myocarditis, amongst other uses for this, won't be able to get it. And there are other medications too. And we had a little test with this with Adderall. Adderall was in a shortage and people were scrambling to get Adderall. So it's important to get off as many medications as you can to work on reversing your diabetes, and to, as much as you can, to have organic produce and buy from farmers markets. And same with your meat, buy from local farms, find local farms, because these vaccines, these mRNA quote unquote technology is being inserted into our food supply and on our food supply in the in something called Apeel, APEEL, and the produce may or may not have stickers with that on it, even our organic produce. And that is a product created by Bill Gates to quote unquote extend the freshness of our produce. So we really have to be, we really have to be astute
Yep.
customers in
I
what we,
called my favorite restaurant. We don't go out very much.
Mhm.
We only almost 99% of the time, if we go out to eat, it's this one restaurant. It's called Bourbon and Bones. It's our favorite. It's delicious. And we know the general manager and, and I called him and I said, could you please, ask corporate about the source of your steak, about your beef and see to make sure that is not being treated with or injected with anything. And they did. He said, we source it from such and such. And, I'm just like, I'm not sure how you would really make sure, unless you do what you're saying and you actually meet the farmer, go to the farmer, you actually, know for sure. But I think it's really important. And it turns out they've been using it, for actually the last few years. It's not even brand new. It's just that we're hearing about it right now.
Yes. And you know what, Karen, you can't like I just got back from St. Louis. I couldn't investigate all that. And sometimes you just have to say,
Yeah.
you know what, bless this food, let it help my body, let it nourish my body, and putting that good energy on the food and your body to process it as best it can.
Amen. Because you're not going to be able to remove all toxins in our life. It's not possible. So if you can just mediate it as much as you can at home. And yeah, you're going to we travel, and I just went out of town. I ate every meal was at a restaurant, and it's okay. Also, it's not going to help you to be afraid of it. And it's not going to help you to be scared of traveling and be scared of all restaurants as well. Just, just do as much as you can. So to get your body into the alkaline state, and then, a few stressors, a few, restaurants, it's really, it's no big deal.
Yeah, and there we go back to our fear and mitigating fear and just being positive and going forward and saying, you know what, I'm going to do my best.
Yep. 80-20 rule or 90-10 rule, just most of the things, most of the time. You're not going to be able to do it 100% all the time. And most people don't have a sauna every day. Most people don't have an ice bath every day. It's just like, it's available, but not necessarily affordable for some people. And I don't have an ice bath. I don't have a sauna. I don't have anything, it's like, but if you can do those things sometimes and then do the protocols that you're talking about, you can do most things, most days, then you're good.
Yeah. I have a sauna blanket. It's hard to think about in the summer, though. It's probably better just to go outside in the sun and do some gardening or something that'll get your, sweating a little bit. But there is a great one that I use, and it's called Higher Dose. And their tagline is Get High Naturally. And it does give you a great elevated feeling. So Higher Dose, they run about $500, I think. So that's a lot less expensive. And it's a sauna blanket. You get in there like a hot pocket. And it's a lot less expensive than buying a whole, infrared sauna and putting it up in your house, which can cost thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
yeah. And then there is the brand Plunge for cold plunge, which is getting a lot of press. And again, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. And that's where you can soak in, and it's self-cleaning also, which is nice, but you can soak in that. But you can also do it in your tub and add in ice, or go back to taking your cold shower. That's inexpensive, and you can do that. And that can give you a lot of bang for your buck and give you those cold shock proteins.
Yeah. My son has been doing my ice bath. He just buys 2 bags of ice or 3 bags of ice, plops it in and sits in it, and it works just as well.
And you know what you can do? Freeze water bottles, put them in your freezer, and just keep reusing them. Throw the water bottles full into your Calgon moment in the ice plunge in your bathtub. Yeah.
It's a great idea. Yeah. And in Arizona, you don't even need a sauna 4 months of the year. You just go outside.
Go outside today, right? I'm sure it's boiling.
It is.
Oh gosh.
We're breaking all kinds of records. But I mean, it's usually hot. It's always hot, but then we were breaking all kinds of records of being over 110 for the most amount of days ever in the history of the world. And yeah, it's super fun. And our electricity went out for a couple hours last night. We're like,
wow.
We're in big trouble if it doesn't come on soon. But it's all good.
Yeah, they're asking people to take down their use of the grid and air conditioning and all that. Yet they're saying get on the electric car. It just doesn't make. It's another thing where if you critically think, it doesn't make sense. And
the infrastructure is not there at all.
No, and it's more toxic to the environment to create a battery, and then the battery, when it's dead, has there's no plan for what to do with all these defunct batteries. Plus, they're dangerous because they ignite, or in a car accident, they again ignite.
I
So
know it can burn your whole house down. There even some of those, I don't know what it is, the electric Jeep. I think it's the Jeep Cherokee. One of my friends has one, and they full on said, "Don't park it in your garage." So
wow. And then also they don't start in the heat.
nope, or the cold. So other
Yeah.
than that, it's great.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. And people don't want them. I mean, just on a side note, because obviously my husband's in the card business, it's just
Oh
like,
yeah, right.
want them. They're people do not want them, and they are full. They are sitting on lots everywhere, and people who just aren't buying it. So
Good to hear.
I know, thank God.
Good to hear. I'm glad. Good.
Guess what? Consumers are the one that determine what is made. So just remember that, kids.
Yes. Good. Yes. Good deal on that. Yes.
Okay, where were we? So we have supplements. So you need to calm our nervous system. We need to boost our immune system. We need to detox from heavy metals using the a bunch of things we're detoxing. The heavy metals, because also I don't think people realize that the heavy metals are in every single one of the childhood vaccine schedule. And
Mhm.
you and I know that when we were kids, there were about 12 total, and now there are 84 total shots in the schedule themselves. And so I just urge people to just find the ingredients, read what is in them, because there is heavy metals in every single one. And then, we've already gotten, I've already gotten all of them. I gave all my kids all the regular vaccines. Now it's just time to just take control. Okay, we already did it. The past is in the past. Let's detox our body. Let's help our body out as much as we can. And that's all we can do. And we can do a lot you've given us a lot of things. And I'm
Yes,
really
I did. I sure did.
awesome.
And there's more. I mean, I have a gut healing protocol in my program, a circulation protocol, detoxification protocol, and nourishment protocol. So I have a lot of protocols, and
And what do
yeah,
you start with? Do you start with the gut protocol?
I start with mindset.
Mindset. You start with mindset.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Then we heal the gut.
yes.
I
So
love
we
it.
can, we detox, then we heal the gut. So you could do that at the same time, and then we nourish.
Yes. We talked about a lot of nourishment already. We know we need whole plant foods. We know we need organic only.
Let's talk about whole food
Yeah, let's do it.
plant-based, because some people don't understand what that means. It means the food as close to source as you can get it. So, kale cut and packaged and, banded together, and it's kale in the store, organic kale. So the more it's processed, the less we're moving away from whole food plant-based. So you want things in their whole natural form, like rice. Rice is, in its whole natural form. Bulgur, anything, any fruit, any vegetable, you want it whole food and a plant base. And if you want to add something that's really great for you, add in fatty fish from a nice area like the North Atlantic, or like Iceland, in that area, because you're going to have a fish raised in healthier water, and you're going to have a fatty fish raised in the colder water. It's going to have more fat, and that fat has a lot of omega-3s, and the omega-3s prevent inflammation, and it's really great for heart health.
Yes. John's doctor just told him about he made salmon eggs into a pill form, just to help him out. But he told him the same thing: eat as much fish and seafood as you can.
Yeah, and salmon roe is actually excellent. It is like the whole package to grow a baby salmon. It's got a lot of fat in it. It's got a lot of vitamins, and eggs too. Again, cholesterol has been bastardized, and cholesterol helps to patch our arteries up. And the problem is the inflammation. And there are a lot of heart doctors out there promoting eating meat, but we have to get a handle on the inflammation. And there is a doctor, Danielle Lyon, and her credo is muscle-centric medicine. And she advocates for eating a lot of protein, and that when you're building your muscle combined with strength training, when you're building your muscles are almost like their own hormonal processing system. And the muscles are really important in processing our food and energy and metabolism and keeping our glucose levels down. And so she's a person that would be one to watch on her Instagram, and she has a podcast as well.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, there's so much to learn and know and think about, and it's never ending. And science is not settled, as was a quote used often. Science is never settled because new things are discovered all the time and things change. So yeah, that's why I encourage you. I might be saying something today, and tomorrow there might be something new discovered. So take information and always do your own research on top of it.
Yeah. I love that. And I would also say, if your doctor or, healthcare provider never asks you what your diet and lifestyle is, then you need to fire them and get another one.
Yeah, because that's the basis
Just
for a lot of our illness. Yeah. And, I don't want to bash our doctors. I mean, they're in a system where they have a process where they have to diagnose and prescribe. And that is how they're trained. And they're not trained in holistic care, healing, or like the mouthwash example, for instance. Even dentists are like advocates of mouthwash unless they're holistic dentists and they have special rinses or use of essential oils. So, and even just gargling in the back of the throat and not getting it into the mouth.
I'm so glad you mentioned that about doctors, and I'm absolutely never bashing any doctor. So glad you brought that up. That point is that just the system where the training is primarily 95% is of, here's the symptom and here is this pharmaceutical that treats that symptom specifically, and not on, okay, how can we heal the body so that you don't need the pharmaceutical? You've said it before, I've said it for years. Our problem is not a lack of XYZ drug, whatever it is. It's not because our body doesn't make that, that drug. That's not the core issue. But I'm not blaming any doctor at all. I'm just urging people to say, if you're not talking about your diet and lifestyle and how it's affecting your health and how you can heal the body, then you might want to look at another doctor.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on that for a second too. Yes, the doctors are in this trained to do this. And what we want to do is with our medical system is complement it. And that's what I did with my program, is to complement Western medicine with all the things that can support that, and to bring our doctor in as our partner in care. And they may not know all this stuff. And so how great would it be if we flipped a doctor into saying, this is great. Let's incorporate all this together and see how you do. And then, wow, your labs look great down the road 3 months. We'll take you off. We'll take you off the meds because you are healing on your own. So we do need them as our partner in care, and to keep their eye on the medical part and with their knowledge, and supplement and support ourselves holistically as best we
100%.
can.
I love that. That's a great perspective. You said it the last time, well, all the time when we talk, that pharmaceuticals are a great bridge, and Western medicine is a great bridge. Like, my husband would be dead without Western medicine. And pharmaceuticals. And so it's fantastic and helping us get through, like you say, it's a bridge to get through, and then let's help support the body and help us remove the pharmaceuticals from our bodies when we can. And hopefully we can, and I don't know, not everybody can, but I love that, just as a great reminder.
Yes, me too. Yeah. Just taking control of yourself and incorporating them. And, it's a team effort, and we do need them. We do need their help. And like you said, your husband wouldn't have lived without that. So,
Nope.
but also, medicine almost killed him. So,
Yep.
yeah. So, and medical error is one of the top 10 causes of death in this country. So, we have to be mindful what we're taking, why we're taking it so long, what's the plan to get us off of it, and how we heal ourselves so that we don't need it.
Yes. Amen. And so I'm so grateful for this journey. Just the journey that my husband and I have been on, is I've learned so much, and really being super careful about which medicines do we really need them, what happens when you take this one and that one together, or just all of the things that I never really thought about before. I've never even been on a pharmaceutical drug, I don't think. I mean, I've taken antibiotics, obviously, but I've never been prescribed any kind of long-term daily pharmaceutical drug ever in my life. So I didn't really think about it much, or I just, he's out of surgery, so whatever they tell him, I'm going to do. We're doing it all, which is great. And we did. And then when he wasn't feeling good month after month after month after month, then it was our deep dive into, okay, this is now we need to heal the body now, because this is all of these every day is not working for him. He feels like crap. He could barely even get out of bed and go to work every day, but he still did. So, slowly but surely, we're eliminating one drug at a time, and it's been incredible, and he's finally feeling better. It's awesome.
Yay, that's awesome to hear. And this is the perfect lesson, is for people to do their own research on their drug, because honestly, doctors don't have the time. If you go in for an office visit, you maybe have 10 minutes FaceTime with you while they're charting, because they have to do their charting. And I feel bad for doctors, and they don't have the time to explain things to you, like change your lifestyle. What does that mean? And that's what, that's part of what I've done, is to build, to implement weekly habits, so that over time you have created a new way of living, which is your new lifestyle. And so researching what, going behind your doctor, because they're human, errors can be made. And going behind your doctor and researching contraindications or side effects, and understanding that if you're getting this certain side effect, or it might not be immediate, it might be down the road, but really knowing inside and out what you're taking, why you're taking it, and how it could impact you is really important.
Yeah. So now I will always do that. How is it, speaking of doctors, really don't have time, what does it look like if someone works with you one-on-one? You have several protocols that you start off with. You have them do, you look at their labs. So what does it look like? Because you're really offering not only group coaching, but but you're offering almost like a concierge. Is that how you would
Well,
categorize it?
that's yes, I have two wings. I have my program, which everyone gets, and in the program, the first and third Wednesday of each month, I have two different times for group coaching calls, in the morning and in the evening. So you can hop into either one at any time. There's no time limit on that, so you can be ongoing forever in coaching, or as long as I'm around doing it. And yeah,
So
and so you get the program, and I have an intake call with you, because I want to meet you and discuss what your problems are, what your history is. And so when I see you in coaching, I have your background information. The concierge program is very intense. It is 10 weeks, not 9. It's a 10-week program. And that is very detailed, where I do go over your labs with you. We do discuss a plan. If you need help with what to eat, we can work on that. So it's very concierge, and it's an opportunity to work very closely together, and you get a lot more contact time with me helping you in those 10 weeks. And then you also get the group coaching. So it's private, one-on-one weekly, and then the group coaching and the baseline program, plus your analysis of your labs.
It's amazing. Oh, I love it. You're helping so many people. How do people find you?
They find me at www.hearttosoulcw.com. So that's no numbers, it's hearttosoulcw.com. And on Instagram, I am at Heart Health Accelerator, which is the name of my program. And then for a little bit more intense on what's going on in today's medical system and in current events combined with health, it is at Heart to Soul CW, same as my website. But Heart Health Accelerator on Instagram is the best place to find me. Yes, and Karen, thank you so much for having me today. This has been really fun and educational, and I just love getting the message out to people. And I want to encourage you to connect with me, DM me, get a hold of me through my website, because I want to help you. And the problem is that people don't understand how they have the power to heal themselves when given the right tools.
Yes. We both want the same things. I want everybody to be happy and healthy and feel good every day. And there's so many, I think, things coming at us all the time, challenges with keeping healthy, but there's so many things we can do. We have all the resources that we have more resources now than we've ever had. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing so many tools and resources and ways to help us detox and help us feel better and have a healthy, long life. Mary, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And listeners, thank you for being here and listening. And God bless you. And just remember that you can create the health, the life you want, the body you want, the mindset you want. And it just takes one day at a time. Just work on it one day at a time. I love you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Take care.